Get your green on, just takes a little know-how. Put your hands in the soil, no need to get a plow. Your salad is great with a few more tomatoes, so please don't hesitate. Put homegrown veggies on your plate.
Hi, I'm Charlie Ruedebusch with Cheney Mansion in the Park District of Oak Park. I'd like to talk a little bit today about raised bed gardening. And raised beds are just what they sound like. Parts of your garden where you raise the soil up a little bit. Especially here in Oak Park with our clay soils, raised beds offer great advantages to the gardener. They warm up faster in spring and the water drains out faster after a rain. They also keep your areas where you're stepping separate from where the plants are trying to grow. A great location is one that gets lots of sunlight. It's in the sun for at least 6 or 7 hours a day, especially if you want to grow vegetables, because they need all the sunshine they can get. So we're going to show you how to take tough, clayey soil like this and turn it into nice, fluffy soil like this after just a couple of years of your raised bed and adding compost and other organic materials. Your plants will love you for it. Making a raised bed without edging materials is the simplest method of all. I call them informal raised beds. First thing to do is, in a general sense, stake out where you think the bed's going to go. You can make your raised bed as long as you want, but I like to keep them 3 to 4 feet wide so they're not so big that you can't reach in and plant or weed in the center of the bed that you're going to make. The next step to making your raised bed is to loosen the soil at the base of where your bed is going to be. I like to use a pitchfork, but shovels work too. You can see how tough and hard and clayey the soil is now, but just come back in a couple years. It'll be nice and fluffy. When you loosen the soil, that is really all you have to do. Just poke your fork or your shovel into the soil and bring it up a little bit. You don't have to do like we were taught when we were kids, turning the soil over. That's really hard on your back, and it's not really even necessary for improving the drainage of your garden. The next step is to get some more soil. The easiest thing to do is to just take the soil from right around the raised bed where you're going to have your path. That way, you won't be wasting all that good topsoil that's just going to be underfoot as you walk around the garden anyway. It's just digging a little bit off the top of the soil and adding it right to the bed you're going to make. You got lots of big clumps of soil here, and that's okay. That's all part of the deal. We chop up the big ones with the shovel, and we can take a garden rake and bust up some of the smaller pieces, just to get it started on our way to making a nice raised bed. Now, adding compost or any other organic material to your gardens is one of the best things you can do for your garden and your soil and anything you want to grow in it. Doesn't really matter what kind of compost you add. It's best if you make it yourself from the things in your own backyard, but you can buy it in bags or even have it delivered by a truck if you're really looking for volume. I'm just going to spread it around a little bit. It's a great idea to add compost when you're making the bed, but it's also a good idea to add it every year to make your soil even better as the years go by. There's no such thing as too much compost. I think that's my life motto. Now, we've taken some of the topsoil off the area around the bed. We don't want to be walking in mud, so it's a good idea to put something around the bed to walk on. Wood chips are a good idea. Another good choice is just straw. Spread that around, and you've got yourself a nice little walking path. The next step is adding a little fertilizer to your raised bed. I like to use a slow-release granular fertilizer. They make them in organic and inorganic types. That's especially good when you're starting a bed, and mix it in a little bit to the top inch or so of the soil. The rains will soak that in, and over the course of the whole summer that'll release a little bit of fertilizer to your plants right when they need it. And now we're ready to plant. My favorite plant in the whole world, the tomato. We're going to take it out of its pot, and the cool thing about tomatoes is that you can pinch off the lower couple of leaves. They don't mind a bit when you plant it. Tease open the roots a little bit from the root ball. Dig your hole. Look how nice and fluffy that soil is. Plant it even deeper than it was before in the pot, right up to that lower leaf. You firm the soil around the plant a little bit, water it in, and there you go. You've got yourself a tomato. Now, if you'd like a more formal look to your gardens, you can always enclose them in some kind of edging material. Now, we're using some used lumber that we found here on the site, but you get the picture. A lot of good choices include naturally rot-resistant lumber such as cedar, Or you can use plastic lumber, or even bricks or paving stones if you'd like. Put the lumber together like this. I like to use the galvanized nails because they're not going to rust out over the years. And you just nail them together in a box. Now, a question a lot of people ask, is making a raised bed difficult? I'm not a carpenter. Well, I'm not a carpenter either, and if I can do it, just about anybody can. All it takes is selecting the lumber and nailing it together into a box or a rectangle. And now we've got the frame for our raised bed. As simple as that. All we have to do is spread the soil around a little bit to fill it out. Now you can see that the soil doesn't reach the top of the raised bed frame yet, and that's okay, because this is just the first year that we're doing this. Every year, as you add more compost and organic materials, the soil will get a little bit deeper and a whole lot better. Now that's gardening.